Crippling weekend loneliness. Do you ever just dread the weekends? You actually look forward to the idea of going back to work, to being around people again. You don't have the social connections per se, and you just want to feel connected. That's why the weekends can feel so dreadful. I realize my Saturdays are quite isolating. They're actually very much too isolating. When I see other people hanging out with other people hanging out on restaurant patios, people doing different things together. Then you got the Sundays, and there's this flood of crushing, crippling, I don't want to feel this way kind of isolation. And you decide to finally get out of bed in the afternoon, and you go outside on this weekend, even though you know you should have moved a little faster, gotten your day going much earlier. You walk down the street, hopefully shake that feeling of being alone. But it just follows you. If anything, it gets worse. It just gets worse in spite of the sunlight and the vitamin D soaking all of that good stuff up. And you're so alone with your thoughts on weekends that with it comes existential angst, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts and desires, and the dread of what's next for your life. And you wonder, holy crap, that's a lot. You look forward to working the next 5 days because work will at least distract you from these thoughts. Work will keep you busy, keep you distracted. Why can't we just be alone without getting lonely? You start to meditate, to live in the moment. But once your session stops, whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, the loneliness still creeps in. After all, you were lonely before you meditated, and you'll be lonely after you meditate too. Even getting together with friends or family feels distant. You're there, but are you really there? You realize when you leave that loneliness will hit you like a freight train waiting for you to walk on its tracks. Smash. You go home, you hop on social media, you escape into the online world, only to feel worse about life when you come back to reality. It's only so many scrolls, right swipes, left swipes, ups, downs, diagonals, southwest, southeast, touch, zoom, click, before you just feel worse about life. And then you come back to that reality. In order to get through the weekend, you have to watch endless YouTube videos to pass the time. Perhaps you're watching this one just to pass the time. You can't even fall asleep anymore without a video or podcast putting you to sleep. That's right, you need a crutch. Is that not insane to have that dependency on a video or some sort of thing to put you to sleep? Like an alcoholic substance or drug or sleeping pill? Is anyone paying attention to this problem, or is it just me? You wake up 5 years later and wonder why you've done what you've done with your life. You just don't understand why you went about it this way. You know there's a better way. There has to be. But what are the steps? Is this what the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 50 years are supposed to be like? What does it all mean? Are people just needlessly getting side hustles, side gigs, weekend jobs, bartending gigs, retail jobs, Walmart greeter jobs, because life is so miserable and they need more structured things to pass the time, to pass their existence? Is everyone headed for the life of that lonely Walmart greeter, just sitting there, passing the time into their 60s and 70s, perhaps dealing with chronic health issues like obesity, diabetes, perhaps some sort of mental disorder because they made poor life decisions? I'm worried for our next generation. Some call it the lonely generation. How unfortunate that nickname can be. What is it about the weekend that magnifies loneliness? How can it be escaped? And how can it be escaped properly without escapism? How can Saturdays and Sundays feel less dreadful when social connection is not always available for us? That is the crippling weekend loneliness.